910, Big 550, KTRS. We woke up to the news this morning. Some of us went to bed late last night with the news that Spence Jackson, Tom Schweich's former media director of the auditor's office, was found dead in his apartment, and the police are investigating. They say it's an apparent suicide. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about it. I have no idea what to how to talk about it other than it's a tragedy, and I hope the best for him and his family. I hope, I don't. It's just so sad. It's just I don't know what else to say. So I'm not going to talk about it because there's nothing to say. I don't know what anybody can say other than it's tragic and it's sad. So I don't know what else to say. So I'm going to move on because, again, I don't know what else to say. Life goes on, and you just have to sort of do your job. But there's nothing left to be said. It's a tragic situation. We're in a weird spot. We're in a weird place. That coming on the news of the Tom Schweich news, it's just a weird and horrible place. And the only thing I can tell you to do or say is basically that, if you, heaven forbid, if you are thinking about something, if it's gotten so bad and so tragic in a situation, and we're not sure if this is an actual suicide or not, but from all indications, it looks like it is. But even if it's not, if you are, near there or close to there or having a tough go of it, there is certainly help. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline, 800-273-TALK, 800-273-TALK. It's been drilled in my head for years that we do not talk about suicide, and we do not talk about it for all sorts of reasons. But you can't deny it. It's in the news. People are talking about it, and there is help out there. 1-800-273-TALK. It's 9:12 here at Big 550 KTRS. I do want to talk about the governor of Indiana, Mike Pence, which every time he talks about the Hoosiers and the Hoosier state, I chuckle. Does anybody else chuckle when he's like, Hoosiers, we Hoosiers don't discriminate? Because he's using the term wrong. We all know Hoosier means, well, Hoosier. A Hoosier in Missouri and in St. Louis is different than a Hoosier in Indiana. It's just, I chuckle every time I hear him say that. So, and I'm going, can we stop it with the gays already? Can we stop? I mean, how much more can you pile on the gays? I get it. You don't like the gays. You don't like their lifestyle. You think their lifestyle is immoral. You think they're going to hell. You think they're terrible. Fine. All right? But leave them alone. I mean, this obsession we have in this country with gays and lesbians, get over it. What is the deal? Why are we so freaked out over a man professing his love to a man, or a man having sex with another man, or a woman having sex with a woman? I've said it before, and I'll say it again. You take the biggest religious person who is against gay marriage, and you bring up, hey, how about a couple of lesbians tonight? Oh, hey, right on, way to go, right? They're so offended by the gays, but they love the lesbians. So the whole thing's ridiculous. I bring this up because this Mike Pence story coming out of Indiana. This is the world we live in 2015. The Presbyterian Church, which has hundreds of thousands of followers, right? Announced last, 2 weeks ago, that 1.8 million members in the Presbyterian Church, the largest Protestant group to formally recognize gay marriage as Christians and allow same-sex weddings in every single congregation. 1.8 million members, 10,000 congregations. The Presbyterians approved gay marriage. Now, what's interesting is just a couple of days ago, I want to say there was a large block of African-American Presbyterian churches that are leaving the Presbyterian Church because of their stance over gay marriage. But fine, you've got a problem with gay marriage in your church. Don't perform gay marriage ceremonies. If you, as a church organization or a religious institution, have no problem with gay marriage and want to open up your arms for the gay community to have a wedding at your altar, hey, guess what? have an altar and a wedding in your church. So now we get to, oh, by the way, the Republican Party, don't look now, but the Republican Party back channels is doing everything they can to sort of tell the hierarchy that, hey, wait a minute, you know what? Being against gay marriage isn't a winner for us, and it's time to sort of soften our stance on gay marriage. That's being clearly met with some resistance, but the ground is shifting. The world is changing, and the Supreme Court's going to rule on this coming up in June. But Mike Pence, the governor of Indiana, passes some type of religious freedom law, which, to be honest with you, I don't really know what it says. I think I know what he says it says, and I think I know what the critics say it says. But as for what he said it says, I'm not even sure he knows what it says, or won't even admit that he knows what is said. But supposedly, according to people who are, well, let's put it this way, according to press reports, he passed the religious freedom law. And basically, the law says that business owners would be allowed to the critics say business owners would be allowed to discriminate against members of the LGBT community. He described the media coverage and the opposition to the law as shameless rhetoric, saying that it strengthens the foundation of the First Amendment rights rather than discriminates. I didn't know First Amendment rights had to be strengthened. We got some pretty strong First Amendment rights here. He goes on to say, and he said this on ABC News yesterday, we're not going to change the law. But if the General Assembly of Indiana sends me a bill that adds a section that reiterates and amplifies and clarifies what the law really is and what it has been for the last 20 years, then I'm open to that. So you need a law to clarify the law you just signed into law. George Stephanopoulos asked Pence if the law allows businesses like florists to refuse to work with gay or lesbian weddings. As critics have said, the governor said the situation has more to do with whether or not the government is involved. I don't know what that means. He goes on to say, my computer locked up here. Of course it did. So what's confusing about all this? This is the same thing that went through in Arizona last summer? If the governor passes the law and then will not go on TV and then, hey, what about this scenario? If this happens, is this law going to cover this or not? He wouldn't answer the question. I have a simple question. First of all, we really need to get over it as a country. We need to get over the fact that there are people who are gay. We need to get over the fact that people are different than us. Whether it's personal choice, whether you truly feel it's a personal choice or it's not a personal choice or it's the way they were born, who cares? You are not marrying a man. If you are so offended by it and so opposed to it, don't marry a man. That's the thing about freedom. And that's the thing about the state getting out of our business and the state letting us not being oppressed by the state. Who cares if it's a personal choice? Who cares if you're born that way? People say, oh, God, the Bible. Isn't that? There are large denominations of churches that are accepting of gay marriages. So your church might interpret the Bible one way. Somebody else's church might interpret the Bible another way. So it's not God said this, Jesus said that. Because there are mainstream religions that are accepting of gays and lesbians within their congregation on a Sunday basis, on a weekly basis, and to perform the surgery, the ceremony. So I know nothing, but I on this holiest of holy weeks, the day that Jesus gave his life for our sins, right? The holiest of holy days. Let me ask you one simple question. 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. Those are the phone numbers. Let me ask you this question. If you were a florist and a gay couple came in and said, we would like you to arrange the flowers for our wedding that's going to be performed at a Presbyterian church with a pastor, we would like for you to have the flowers, do the settings and all that, and how much would it cost? Okay? And this gay and lesbian couple came into this florist, not necessarily say you, but maybe you. This gay and lesbian couple walks into the florist, and the florist is Jesus. What would Jesus do? If Jesus were the florist, would Jesus say, I'm sorry, I'm against gay marriage and it goes against my religious beliefs? I am not going to give you and sell you any flowers for your wedding? Would Jesus actually say, sorry, you're gay, I'm not going to help you? Would Jesus do that? 314-969-KTRS, 1-888-550-KTRS, or star KTRS. Those are the phone numbers. We'll take your phone calls coming up here in just a second. 921 KTRS.